What is up? We are back. It's me, Richie, and I have my co-host.
Hello, I'm Alex.
We are back, and we are here to talk to you guys about Survivor Season 50. As we are recording this, the cast reveal was today. And I think we'll kind of go through some of our general thoughts first, and then we'll go talk about player by player and just kind of reminding you guys of what seasons they were on, regardless of whether or not some of y'all may know them, just because some of these people, it's been a while. So it's good to have a little refresher. Maybe I'll throw in a fun little inside joke or something with it. So, with that in mind, Alex, I want to pass off to you first this time. What were your general thoughts on the Survivor 50 cast?
Oh my. Okay. So my general thoughts were a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of meh. Um, there isn't a lot to say about the cast. It is very, very just weird and kind of chaotic how it was all put together. A lot of rumors stuck between the fandom, and some people were right and some people were wrong, and then there's a lot of debates going on why this wouldn't just be like a new era returning season or a second chance type season. Um, I'm happy to see a lot of people on here. I don't like a lot of people on here as well, so we'll all get into it. But that's just my general thoughts on it.
My thoughts on this cast, I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I feel like this is close to the worst case scenario we could have. I know everyone's going to be all like, you're overreacting and blah 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 blah, but like I just don't like. I think this was the worst cast situation we could have gotten. Like I don't think we need five people of a 24-person cast from Survivor 40 and 49 to two seasons before. I don't think 11 to 12 names of the new era need to be coming in from like this. Here's the thing. I do think a lot of these new era names should have been on the board regardless for a big season like this, but it's also some of these names I think are the wrong names. And a lot of these ones are I don't want to like crap on the casuals or whatever, but like I kind of feel like they're trying to make it very casual heavy. Personally, I don't really like that. I don't exactly like that it's trying to be casually favored just because I just think it's kind of making it less like I'll say it this way: the super fans are the ones that kept the series going all the years. Like we should be able to have a vote. It should have been in the hands of the fans and bring back fan voting for the cast. Why are we doing fan voting for all these minor aspects of the game that aren't going to matter? Carolyn and Jesse getting cut, Jerry getting cut, Abby Maria getting cut, like big names like that getting cut. Sean Rector and Elizabeth Hasselbeck, which some people like her, some people don't. However you view her, like big names that would have made sense to bring back get cut in favor of like all just some random names that people don't want to see back. My general thing, I think this is Game Changers level. Like Game Changers might have lost its award for most random and bad cast assembled. And Alex, I see you're not over there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think this takes a cake. For a season like 50, you want to bring back players that kind of influence the game. A lot of players have not influenced the game at all, or some have, which is fine, but they're playing for like their third or fourth time. Yeah, or fourth, fourth or fifth time, which is like we don't need to see you. We don't need to see you again. You already played your games, and we know how you play, and it's not gonna change. Like it's not gonna change at all how you play the game, and you probably won't win again because you've not won in those past 3 or 4 seasons you played. So why cast you again? There's a lot of players that have not played it twice or even 3 times yet that kind of deserve a chance. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I'm not against certain names coming back that played a couple times, but a lot of these names were not the names I would have been fine with. Some of these people I'll get into it. I don't want to say too much and
Yeah, yeah.
spoil what I'm
Let's just
ever
get
going to be
into
on.
it because yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
it is a 24-person cast, so there will be talks of a lot of people. First up, Jenna Lewis. My opening thoughts on Jenna, I'm 50-50 on her. I'm not too upset. I mean, I am happy we get some old school representation. And the thing with Jenna, she does kind of fulfill a type of player I like, someone who hasn't been back since like the very old school series, coming back to play again. Still, from what I've heard, is somewhat active in the Survivor community, still actively watches Survivor, so she's updated. Do I think there are better names? Absolutely. Like Jerry, T Bird, Natalie Bolton, like not to crap on Jenna, but like it's just there's so many better names. Sheehan, like not she's not the worst name they could have brought back, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't remember Jenna Lewis, she was the second juror Survivor Borneo, got 8th out of 16th, came back for Survivor All Stars, notably went on a winner's tirade after her Borneo appearance that was worthy of All Stars, where she, wait a minute, didn't get her loved one's video from home. Um, but long story short, um, Jenna got to the final three before being taken out at the end by Boston Rob in the Romber storyline that I'm pretty sure we all loved so much. I'm happy for the both of them in real life. Actually, I do like Rob and Amber. Actually, they're a nice couple. But the long story short, though. By the way, Amber at Duncan's commercial is hilarious. Sorry, off topic, but did you not see the Duncan's commercial, or
Well,
was it Hardy's?
no, I
Okay, sorry.
don't
We'll
care
talk. We'll
either.
talk about it later. Sorry. Um, but like Jenna was taken out third out of 18th, seventh and final juror, where I believe she voted for Rob to win. I believe. I'll double check that way. You give your opinions on Jenna, though. Aleks, what do you think about Jenna?
So Jeff says he's kind of catering towards the casual audience. No casual knows Jenna, just straight up. No casual fan knows who Jenna Lewis is. So if you're trying to play for these casual audience members, you're really gonna have to give her a backstory when she plays on the show and she give people to let them know who she is. um, it's great that Jenna still watches the series because when Kelly Wigglesworth came back on for Second Chance, she didn't watch any seasons after her first one, so she can at least adapt to the game where Kelly Wigglesworth sucked ass straight up. She was not good on Second Chance. So hopefully, we can get a Borneo person kind of like Jervis who also adapted to the game to actually get farther in this game because it'll be fun to see her and hopefully she makes it far. But yeah, not the right pick for if you're going for an early season player, not the right pick.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't think Jenna, again, I don't think she's the worst pick. Definitely not the best, but I don't think she's the worst. I do think there is more to her story that could be told as a player. But again, Jerry, T Bird, Sheehan, Natalie Bolton, like a lot of big
There's
names
a
that
lot
were
of
cut.
strong girls that are in the early seasons, but you pick Jenna Lewis.
Right. Like if Jenna Lewis was always going to be on 50 and then they had like the other characters with them, fine. But it's like, what? Like, I don't know. I'll get into it later
Yeah.
with another player I'll be talking about. Because the
Well,
next person we're going to talk about is someone that I think I just mentioned, Jerry Manthe. It's hard to think of a season without Jerry that doesn't involve Colby, who is on 50 without Jerry. Why? What the hell? Those of you who don't remember, Colby was the runner-up of Survivor, the Australian Outback, the second season of the US series. The longest day-wise, because it was 42 days. So Colby will be the only Survivor player with the distinction after 50 for playing in a 42, 39, and 26-day season. He played in Survivor All Stars. I believe he got 12th out of 18th, if I recall correctly. When
oh,
he was blindsided at Mogo Mogo. What do you say?
around there.
Yeah, he was definitely around there. Yeah, because I think it was after. Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
12.
it's fine.
And
Nope.
then in Heroes versus Villains, he kind of fumbled his way to the final five. Was the last hero remaining somehow. Possibly could have won. and then gets voted off in fifth place out of 20th, and also became the eighth member of the jury. And I just realized this now too. Colby has also played in a 16-person season, an 18-person season, a 20-person season, and a 24-person cast now with 50, which I do think is another unique thing. But Colby, Colby without Jerry, it's just like, why? Like,
I'm gonna share my points now.
yeah, you go first,
Um,
and then I'll share mine.
I feel like Colby might actually do well in this season. I feel like a lot of newer players are gonna kind of attach themselves to Colby. I feel like I can see a lot of people like actually being in an alliance with Colby, and I feel like Colby will easily make the merge and might actually he could win in theory. I feel like it's a good choice. You know, he's not played since season 20, and of course he's matured probably a lot by now. Um, he probably won't throw fists with Jeff about chocolates. So that's good. That's good to hear.
Chocolate.
Um,
We'll go when I say so, brother.
yeah, but I feel like a decent pick. Again, there's probably better options out there, but he was always a fan favorite. Yeah,
I think there are better picks than Colby. I kind of disappointed they brought him back without Jerry. Now, granted, I did hear about how he has been watching Survivor, I think, again, since Heroes, Healers, Hustlers season 35. So at least he's aware of the game. He has still at least kept up with it over the years for the most part. But it's like Colby without Jerry. It's just kind of disappointing. Him by himself and in modern day, it just every hero needs a villain. That's what I'm gonna say. Like I'm kind of disappointed because I think there are much better options than Colby. And the last time we saw Colby, I'm not like he was just kind of there. Like I'm not denying that he's gonna go far or if he's gonna go early or if he could win. I'm not claiming or denying any of that. I do think I can't see him winning personally, but if he somehow does win, hats off to him for proving me wrong.
yeah.
But I just feel like it'd be if he does somehow get there, he's just gonna kind of be there. I'm worried a lot of players on this cast are gonna play like honor bound and like honesty, loyalty, and integrity, especially with a couple of other very
Well,
select people I'm
I
happy
don't
to see.
I don't feel like this might like I can see like an honesty and truthful game between I think like four people here, but that's really it though. I feel like I think everybody else is gonna be playing with blood, and I don't
Hope
see
to
a big
God.
truth alliance forming. I feel like we have a lot of, we do have a lot of devious players on this season, so
Well, do you have anything else you want to say about Colby or
no,
okay? Because the next person is someone who was kind of devious on her second season. Had a whole heel turn, went hero the villain. I'm talking Stephanie LaGrassa. Now, she played in Survivor Palau, was notably the last member standing of the Oolong tribe, which, if you don't remember, was the one tribe that got decimated all before the merge. She was absorbed by Karor, ended up getting seventh out of 20th, was the third juror, came back the very next season, Survivor Guatemala, was the runner up of the season, losing in a 6-1 vote after becoming a full on villain, which, again, Guatemala, underrated. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's actually a pretty fun season. Then she came back for Heroes versus Villains, where she was essentially bullied out of the game by James at the second tribal council. Um, Stephanie, again, kind of like Jenna, I don't think Stephanie's the worst pick to bring back. Kind of makes sense in some aspects, considering her history, her legacy over the years, and considering the fact that she didn't even get to really play Heroes versus Villains. I kind of feel like this is somewhat more of her actual third shot than it is her fourth time playing. I will give her that. Does kind of seem like a bit of an odd pick though after all these years, but like I do think there's a tiny bit more maybe for Stephanie's game because again, she didn't really get to show anything in Heroes versus Villains. She was one of the people I was the most excited for in Heroes versus Villains, but I think there's a little bit more to show. But again, were there better picks? I think so, but not the worst pick. I'm maybe a little higher in her than Jenna, or just about. It's 50-50 for me. Aleks, how about you?
I am actually very high on Stephanie. I feel like she can easily pair up with a lot of these newer age players. Like I can see her totally aligning with. I can see her totally aligning with Genevieve. I can see her aligning with Angelina. I can see her aligning with Mike White. I can totally see her aligning with Emily as well. So there's a lot of players on this list I can she can totally ride with, and so she like I can totally see her making merge and riding out with a strong alliance. Right now she's the highest on my list out of the three right now that I can see her taking big steps this season.
There's another player that I'm kind of high on at times, and I don't know if you're really high on her right now because of how she's been pretty much everywhere in our TV screens recently, and that is Cirie Fields. You're already shaking her head. Let me get through my intro, then you can keep shaking her head. I don't know if people can see you shaking her head, but Cirie Fields, Survivor Panama, fourth out of 16th, Micronesia, third out of 20th. Both times being the seventh and eighth juror in each season in those two seasons respectively. No, sixth then eighth, doesn't matter. Um, Heroes vs Villains, she was the fourth one vote out of the game thanks to JT, and then the we'll say right now, Cirie wouldn't have let JT give that damn idol to Russell. Came back to Game Changers, was taken out thanks to Advantage Geddon. Thanks a lot, Troyzan. You finally popped out in Game Changers that one moment and screw Cirie over. Jokingly. Anyways. And she basically was 6th out of 20th and became the 8th juror of the season. Now, Cirie also, since her time in Survivor, for those of you who do not know, she was on all sorts of other shows. Like she was on Snake in the Grass, which she ended up winning alongside two other reality TV alumni. I don't remember exactly which ones. I think I have an idea, but don't quote me because I'm not 100%. She went on the Traders US season 1. She ended up winning that season, and she ended up going on to Big Brother 25, where she ended up gaining fifth out of, I believe it was 17th. And she was also the sixth juror on that season as well, or fifth. I'm not 100% sure. I forget. But Cirie, I don't doubt she's going to go far and do good. But again, it's kind of like if she doesn't win, it's going to kind of feel like a waste of a spot. Like, I feel like they're kind of fluffing up certain people in this cast to help her give her the best shot possible. But at the same time, it's like she's been on everything. We needed a second chances, first boot season, like a pre-merge all-star type of thing to and some other names in the mix before bringing Cirie back for like a bigger season like this as much. But Aleks, what do you think?
I'm a hater of Suri. Never liked her.
I almost just did a spit take. Are you kidding or are you actually serious? I can't
I'm
tell with you.
serious because sure her game was great in Micronesia. After that, she just fell off so hard. No joke. She just was not good in any other season she ever played. Um, Big Brother, she was fine, but again, they really catered towards her in that season.
Well, the only reason she was
It was
even
pretty
on Big
obvious.
Brother was because of her son that went
That's
on.
why. That's
Her
why she's.
son went on, said the R
That's why
word at
they
one point.
catered
The live
towards her
feed's going to be
so
trying to
hard.
cover it up.
They catered towards her so hard in that season. That's why. Um, and I feel like they're gonna do the same damn thing this season as well. And I hate it because they just love catering towards her for like literally no reason. Don't like her. I never liked her. I hope she is what off pre-merge. That's it.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Hot
Sorry.
take.
I'd have went there. This is her fifth time playing. Waste a spot.
Well, this next person is someone who also back for the fifth time, someone who I think is a spot waster, Ozzy. He was the first runner up of Survivor Cook Island, i.e., the first final three the US version of Survivor ever did. Came back for Survivor Micronesia, ended up becoming the second juror, 9th out of 20th. came back for South Pacific, where he was the ninth and final juror of that season, got fourth out of 18th. And then he came back to Game Changers, where he was a very disappointing second juror again, getting 12th out of 20th after basically doing nothing. Now, Ozzy, I'm just going to say this right now. Why? Like, again, this is why I said before. They're heavily favoring the casuals. And here's the thing, I don't want to like crap on casuals. Casuals also help keep the show alive as well, but the super fans are the ones who remember that Ozzy didn't do anything in Game Changers. He doesn't learn from any of his seasons over and over and over. He keeps playing the same game. He's played the same way. He has not understood the fact that, like, hey, like you play 4 times in 10 years, maybe you gotta like learn the social game at that point. He thinks that he's gonna be carried to the end and revered because he fishes for food for people. That's not going to be the entirety of how you win Survivor, Ozzy. Like it's just
Yeah,
I'm not saying it doesn't help or it doesn't put good favor for him by the other players, but at the same time, if you're trying to win and you're getting like arrogant and pissing people off, like I think to Suri in Micronesia, where he kind of pushes her to go really deep in the ocean to the point where she's extremely uncomfortable. I think it's South Pacific, where he turned off Cochran so much that he flips on them, partially because of the way Ozzy and Keith treat him. I think of Game Changers, where he's just immediately kind of getting a little annoyed with Suri. Off the back of Micronesia, like Ozzy is someone who he hasn't changed. Like Suri, at least she plays good. She'll be someone entertaining. Ozzy's not always guaranteed to be entertaining, especially Game Changers. He was so nothing on there. Why do we need to see him back? Aleks, what do you think?
true. He was like one of the only game changers on that cast, really. Like if you're going by game changer, I guess. But like
And
he
Probst
was
didn't
so
even
awful,
want him on Game Changer. CBS forced him on that
which is
cast and
pretty funny.
forced Ozzy on this cast too.
Yeah. Um, I Ozzy needs to play like a Tony Vlachos like winners at war type game to win, where he just does not do anything in the pre-merge and then just sorry yeah pre-merge and then just kind of coast
He didn't do
to the
anything in the
win.
pre-merge last time either. Sorry.
I know, but like he just got to take notes from Tony if he wants to win. That's literally it. I don't see him going far. I see him again being a pre-merge boot because they know how good he is at challenges, and maybe he might be bad at these new challenges. Who knows? So
I think Ozzy will probably be decent in challenges. I think his young heyday is behind him, but I still think he'll be decent enough in challenges to where his trimates will try to keep him until merge or he'll just
yeah,
win out.
probably
I can't see him making it far. I don't think he's going to win many individual
no,
challenges.
because
I
he'll
think the
be like Joe in Cambodia. He'll probably make it to merge and then get voted up pretty early just because dominant player.
yeah, like I can't. I think just the threat of him winning out is going to be too much. I think he goes out
Yeah,
early merge. I think that's the furthest he makes it. Maybe mid merge at best, but I think it's likely he's early merge. So,
yeah.
um, Aleks. Now let's talk about the next person. Maybe some people are high in this person. Maybe I'm not.
I used to be high on this person, really high actually,
Can
and
I say it?
then
Can I
and
say the name
then
first?
and then well, wait, what?
Can I say the name first? I didn't say the name.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm gonna keep that in. Um, we have what's his name? What's his birth name? Benjamin Coach Wade coming back. Survivor Token Chains was the fifth juror of a 7-person jury in Survivor Token Chains, got fifth place. He came back for Heroes vs. Villains, the first juror, getting 12th out of 20th. He came on to South Pacific, first runner up, losing in what became ultimately a controversial vote that led to Sophie's win. And I've always liked Sophie as a winner, so I think she earned her win damn well. I think the editors just should have showed more of her. Snyder cut up South Pacific, anyone? Sorry. Coach, I'll let you go first for coach because you were starting to say something. So I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, well, that's fine now. I'll just kind of start from scratch. I feel like Coach could do well. He's got to play a lot. He's got to play with a lot of the other chaotic dudes on his cast and try to hope that he can, stay alive. But I feel like he might just due to his, the cast might like having him around, but I can't see him winning. He could go far. But it will be fun seeing him play with Ozzy again. That will be fun. But again, not really high on Coach. I see why they bring him back. You know, he's a fan favorite, of course. But yeah, not really that high on him this time around.
Coach, I mean, I am interested kind of in Coach and Ozzy dynamic. And again, it's been a long while since he played. However, we also have another person we'll be talking about in a little bit, Q from Survivor 46, who is essentially a new age version of Coach.
Yep.
Why do we have two basic versions? Why are we basically having like two versions of Coach? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to like crap on Coach because I love Coach as a character, but at the same time, just feels like such an oddball pick. Like the closest representation we get of the actual like 20s past heroes versus villains is Ozzy and Coach who played in South Pacific. That's the closest we get to 20s representation in this, and it's kind of that's
That sucks.
right, exactly. Next up we have is skipping all the way to Survivor Co. Wrong, Aubrey Bracco, first runner up of that season, losing a controversial vote to Michelle. Came back to Game Changers, was the ninth out of 10 jurors, got fifth out of 20 at the Game Changers after a very invisible performance by the editors. Because we just need to see so much of Troyzan, right? Um, and then she came back for Edge of Extinction, where basically she got voted out fifth to last, got stuck in Edge of Extinction alongside Reem for like basically the entire season, and did not win her way back in. Now, Aubrey, I like Aubrey. But I feel like her story, like, there's another thing I'm kind of disappointed with. There's certain people, like, Ozzy's story feels like it ended with South Pacific, and he's already overstayed his welcome. Coach's story felt like it ended perfectly in South Pacific. Colby's felt like it ended perfectly in Heroes versus Villains. Aubrey's felt like it perfectly ended in Edge of Extinction. Why are we bringing people back that don't have an actual story to bring forth? And I don't mean like stories, not a character story or all of that, but I mean like a stories in like why? Like some of these people don't really feel like they have any more development that they could put on for the show, let alone good game performances. And I'm not saying Aubrey can't play, but it's like like last time she fumbled the ball against a group of newbies who had never played the game before with an idol in her pocket. Like again, I don't want to crap on Aubrey. I like Aubrey, but it's like, why is she back? Why aren't we getting Sydney? Why aren't we getting Natalie Bolton? Why aren't we getting Natalie or Natalie Anderson? Even would be a fun pick. Jacqueline from San Juan del Sur be a fun second chance pick. Kelly Wentworth. Where's Jatia? I'll even take Tasha. I'll even take freaking Tasha from Cagayan. What? Where the hell is she in cast? Where's Spencer? Like, why? It's just some of these people who have only played once or twice, but you were bringing someone back who barely even existed her third time out there. Like, I'll stop now because I don't want to go too long. Aleks, what do you think?
Um, yeah, not the best pick. You know, we skipped how many seasons to get to Korong from
It
South
was
Pacific?
about
Like
4
we go from
minutes.
South Pacific to
South
Korong.
Pacific.
We're missing
Oh,
like
wrong.
we're missing a lot of seasons there, and a lot of them have players who could easily be brought back. You know, you have Brenda from Nicaragua. That's a good pick. You have
Brenda,
you
did
know,
you just say Brenda? Brenda's one of my all-time favorite characters
yeah,
from
like
Survivor.
Brenda. You know, she's only played twice. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
only played in Nicaragua, and fans versus favorites
yeah.
too.
So
Where
there's
is
there's
Brenda,
other
everyone?
strong women that could be replaced, but no, you bring Aubrey back because that's Jeff's favorite player, I guess, for literally no reason. You we have clones of Aubrey already on this cast. We don't need the OG Aubrey back when we have players who play the same game as her,
Well, and even then, I kind of feel like Aubrey's borderline a Cochran clone.
a clone of a clone of a clone. Yes, yeah, but yeah, not the best pick. And we skipped so much seasons as well. We don't need to
Right,
have
like,
Aubrey on this one. So that's all.
right. I would have loved to have seen Brenda back. Oh my gosh, Brenda was my first season was Nicaragua. I think I've said that before. Brenda was my favorite player in that
Okay, let's not
season.
ramble on about Brenda, please. Let's go to the
I
next one.
won't. I was just gonna say that. That's all I was gonna say.
This next one
Um,
I'm high on as well. So
yeah, well, yeah,
let's get to it.
I'm high in Brenda. Like I'm also high in this person that is Chrissy Hoffbeck, the runner-up of Survivor Heroes versus
Yes.
Healers versus Hustlers. Chrissy, I could actually see winning. I don't know if she will, but if she plays her cards right, it's been a long time for her. People might remember she got second, but it's been so long that I think they'll maybe care a little less compared to some more current names or
Yep.
some bigger names that might be coming back, like Legacy Legendary stats. Like I think she might be able to wedge herself in there. She plays her cards right. I think she at least is guaranteed merge. I think she might be able to get another immunity run. But I definitely am high on Chrissy. I think she has a lot of game to play. I think she probably has learned from her last time because I do remember hearing in and out of the game some people were upset with Chrissy and they did and didn't show some of the stuff about her people being upset and hurt by Chrissy and some things she said or did, and that's why she ended up losing a jury vote, partially losing a jury vote to Ben, who idled his way to the end because that's how Survivor goes, right?
Yeah,
But I'm
man. Nine idols found, man, on that season. Crazy. Very coincidental. Very coincidence, right? Nine idols in the season that Ben finds like probably four of them. Very fun. All right.
very fun to see the game
Yes.
defined by idols and advantages and not the social gameplay it should be
Oh,
standing
lovely. Yeah.
for. We
Plus,
totally don't want to
plus
see
the
that
intro of
stuff. We don't want to see the
yeah,
point
plus
of
the intro
Survivor.
of fire making. That's perfect. That favors Ben right there. All right. Um, I'll talk about Chrissy for a while. Chrissy, I'm really high on. I think she's the out of this list so far. Chrissy's my highest I have. Her second chance, she has a lot to prove still. Um, and I feel like she can easily align with a lot of the newbie 40s players, and I feel like she can also uh, coincide with a lot of the earlier players on this list as well. So she's like, I feel like she might easily be able to play the middle with these people, and I feel like she can make it a long way. Maybe back to the final three, and she might make fire. Who knows? Make it full circle.
I would 100% love a Chrissy win. Like,
Yeah,
Chris is one of the few people on this list I see that I think could actually take it all and win at the end. Next person, I kind of can also see taking a win at the end,
yep,
but I do think it'll be a lot harder of a path for him considering his reputation. Someone else I'm very happy to say is back on. Christian Hubicki from David versus
yes,
Goliath got seventh place, was, I believe, the seventh juror. And yes, I just did the math right now. I was a comm major, not a math major. Sue me. Um, but Christian Hubicki, I'm excited he's back. There's so much fun to be had with him around. And like, I recently rewatched David versus Goliath, and I forgot how much I really like Christian. Like Christian, I think is one of the few like Twitter. I don't want to say Twitter, but like some Twitter accounts on Survivor side of it will be very much like again like anti-men sometimes, not fully anti-men, but like there are a lot of men. I think Christian's one of the few men I don't think I've seen a lot of them like complain too much about, at least not the what I've seen.
yeah. Like
um
these next two players, they all love on Twitter. So
well,
I feel
right,
like,
yeah, like
yeah,
Christian, I could definitely see him winning. It will be a lot harder for him unless he sets himself up really. He has to do a lot of work the first couple days, but if he does the work right, plays his cards right, overcomes his reputation, he is set. However, I also won't be surprised to see an early exit from him because he does have a big reputation. He does have a massive reputation of being a very smart, strategic player. I want him to make merge. At minimum, be a juror. But I won't be surprised if somehow he's out early just because of his reputation. So, Aleks, what
yeah.
do you think?
I have the same fear as well. I feel like he could easily be an early boot because of how much like non like strategic players on this cast. There's a lot of physical players on this cast. So they might band together and take out all the smart brain guys, which kind of sucks because Christian's like again one of my favorites who's played and is actually like decent at the game rather than just being like a strong man. Um, I see him either early boot or making it to jury and maybe getting far if he gets lucky on challenges and advantage plays. So yeah,
Right. And I think some people forget he has won an individual challenge before. I think it was I forgot it was more than one or just one. I do remember the one where he is like telling Jeff the stories. Like,
Yep.
have you ever heard of a Reuben sandwich? And I actually just heard today on the Once Upon an Island podcast, which if you don't know, if you don't listen to Once Upon an Island, go listen to them. They're really fun. I love listening to them. Not to drone on about that, but I actually heard from a podcast who's listening about the cast reveal today that apparently during that they cut it out, but Christian was also complaining about game changers and how horrible of a season that was to Jeff Probst. And I think that's the funniest thing ever that he got away with that and got a second return at minimum after telling Jeff to his face that what he thinks sucks. We kind of need more of that, right, guys? I mean, come on. Is there anything else you gotta say about Christian, or should we go to the next person?
Let's go to the next person.
All right, because it's getting kind of cold in here, Alex. Can I borrow your jacket? Can
Yep.
you give me your jacket, Alex? Because I'm getting cold in here when we're talking about Angelina Keeley, the second runner-up of David versus Goliath. I'm thinking of like the song "Cold as Ice" right now. Oh my gosh. Angelina, very fun character. I do think she actually has potential as a strategic player. We do know her mind's at least always in the game, even though she's not always playing the best. Her mind's there. Believe it or not, another person I could actually see winning if she gets a little more awareness, becomes aware of what went wrong for her the last time. I think Angelina has potential. I think I'd be surprised if she doesn't at least make merge. If she gets voted off early, do some huge blunder, it had to be like I don't even know. It would have to be like borderline, like something really screwed up to get her out super early. I cannot see her not making merge. So I love Angelina. I was actually rooting for her. I wanted her to win David versus Goliath. I loved Angelina. So, Alex, what are you thinking about Angelina?
I am not so high on Angelina as you are, but I feel like Angelina is a good, you know, casting choice. This is also her second chance. She has a lot to prove still. She wasn't really liked a lot by the jury, of course, on her first season, just because she was always, she was a bit, of a, you know, bit of a bitch. She did a pretty bad job with jury management her first season. I think she will learn a lot about what her wrongdoings were in her first season and then kind of translate it over to her second season, which is this one, and just kind of see how she kind of adapts her game. And that's really all I have for yeah, that's really all I have for Angelina. So
All right, well then let's talk about her David versus Goliath co-star then, who is an actual Hollywood icon at this point,
yeah,
Mike White, who creator of the White Lotus, creator, director, producer. I don't know which one of the roles it is, or if it's all of the
great
above.
show.
I do like it, yes. We'll have to make a different video about that sometime because I have a lot of thoughts on that. Mike White, I'm 50-50 with them. Like, I think he's a funny character. I think in David vs. Goliath, he is great. However, when there's I feel like there are bigger names than him, I feel like. Like, I feel like Jesse's a bit of a bigger name than Mike White to come back. I feel like personally, Sean Rector was a bit of a bigger name than Mike to come back. Someone like Greg, like Mike White isn't the worst name to bring back, but then you also put in the fact that Mike White's friends with Jeff Probst, so it kind of makes me think like, okay, did he pick him because he actually wants Mike on, or because they're like besties on the outside? And for those of you who don't know, Mike White actually got into Jeff's head about a lot of things for a couple of seasons. Like he told Probst that he didn't think that he should be doing Redemption Island for Sin Wandel Sur because Probst was originally going to do that for Sin Wandel Sur, Blood versus Water 2. He Probst had a whole different idea for 41 that would have involved more fire tokens. Devin is like a fire token. What's the word I'm looking for? Like vendor. And Mike White was like, Jeff, come on. Like he kind of like got into his Jeff's head and like try like helped him. Like, and Probst has even said this in live interviews too. I don't know which one. So Mike White is sensible. He is funny. I'm not saying like I'm upset Mike's coming back at all. I'm not saying that at all. It just kind of feels like there are slightly bigger names I would have rather seen first, but I'm not fully opposed to it. I think he's getting mid merge, or maybe he's a losing finalist. I don't know if I can really see him winning. Again, if I'm wrong, cool, but that's what I think. Alex, what do you think about Mike White?
I am opposite. I love that Mike White's on this cast. I'd rather have like take out Angelina and just leave Christian and Mike as the two reps for this season. Um, I feel like Mike White's game on a rewatch is 10 times better than my first watch of the season. He played such a good game that was very under edited and was not really shown to the audience. And I feel like on a rewatch you can totally see like where he was influential in each of the votes. I feel like well not each of the votes because the back-to-back idol plays were not really
Right.
his doing, but um I'm really hyped for Mike. I really think he could play along with this cast, and I feel like him and Rick Devens might just be a good buddy duo. I feel like those I can just totally see him running the show. Um, but I feel like Mike's a really good choice. Even though there's bigger names out there,
Right.
he was due for a second chance,
Oh, 100% agree with that.
and I'm happy that they're giving him it with this cast at least, where he can actually play along with the cast and not kind of have to be like the old guy of the cast, you know.
Right. No, I totally get that. And let me emphasize again what I was saying before. I'm not saying I'm not happy Mike White's coming back. I'm not saying he's not a good player because he is a great player, and I actually am curious to see how he does in a return. I'm excited for him. I feel like there's slightly bigger names that I rather personally, like on my personal list, I probably would have brought some other people back before him, but I am interested to see how Mike White does. I'm not gonna completely oppose him coming back. I do think there's a lot of very interesting things that come out of his return. So, and he is snarky, so I'll be at least some good character entertainment with that, and maybe we'll get
Give this
lucky,
man
get a
some
good
wine.
reward.
Give this man some wine.
Yes, give him a stash of wine
Take
just for the
take him to the
entire game.
sanctuary like 15 times and just see how he does. Okay. We
Next
can move
person we're
on.
going to talk about, someone else who gets idols and loves them as much as Mike likes getting wine. Rick Devens, Edge of Extinction, fourth place out of 18th. And I know we talked all about Mike and Devens before. I don't know if they team up with Mike's runner-up game, Devens' fourth place game. I think it'd be pretty interesting, but I cannot see them letting him go far. I definitely cannot see letting him go anywhere near the final tribal council. I think at best he's a mid-merge boot at best. I think there's likely chance he goes very early on and just out of the threat of him, kind of like how Suri was with Yowman in Micronesia, with how she was afraid of Yowman getting idols and finding stuff left and right. I think that's what the reputation is going to be with Devens. They're going to try and knock him out right off the bat just to guarantee that he can't find anything. Alex, what do you think?
I really hope he wins. He is my winner pick, just because I just want him to win. He is such a good character. He
He's
tells
your
such a
winner
good
pick.
story. Yes, things can change. We still have like a whole year.
Fair enough, yeah.
But right now, just off the cast, he is my winner pick, and I really want him to win. Again, he's a great storyteller. He's up there with Chris. He's up there with Chris from Vanuatu as in like a good storyteller. Um, and he just has that voice that can really sway you. So I really hope he makes it far in this game,
I love
and it's
Chris.
really and he's really deserving of a second chance as well. So I'm happy he's on here.
I'm happy for Devins too. Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't happy for him. The only thing I worry about Devins wise is that I know in Edge of Extinction he hogged so much screen time, so I am a little worried about that. But you
I
mentioned
feel like
Chris
he'll
from
take a
Van.
backseat this season.
What?
I feel like he'll take a backseat this season because there's much more
Right.
louder people on this
Every
cast.
Right. You mentioned Chris from Vanuatu before. One of the biggest things I remember is when he won that challenge in Vanuatu, I think it was Final Four, he's like, I got it, I got it. Yes, yes, yes. And that is not what I'm saying when I talk about this next person. Because we go forward to Survivor 42 with
Your favorite,
Jonathan Young,
your favorite dude.
Alex
He has an
Shapiro.
autograph from him on his wall, and he
Oh
prays with
my
each
gosh.
night, just saying, "Please let it be. Like, please be 50, please for like five
I
months
do not
straight."
have a shirt on the wall. Do you see a shirt on this wall?
Yeah, it's like to your right. I see the frame right there. All
That's
right, go
not the
ahead.
frame, and that's signed by Sue Hawk, dumbass.
If you just rearrange the letters, it just it fits
Yes,
in
because
place.
Susan Hawk has a J in it.
Yeah.
Okay, good for
Yep.
you. You failed
Exactly.
English. You failed English? I guess that was possible.
Well, we can all agree this was a crappy
Thank you.
Yeah,
Here's the
it was
thing.
a crappy casting decision.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't hate him as a person. I will say this. I don't hate any of these people as people. I will say this right now. I do not hate Jonathan as a person. I heard he's a very nice guy outside the game.
Mm,
If it was New Era All Stars, I could understand him being picked. Even if it was a fans versus favorites type of thing, I could kind of understand that. But in a cast like this, you cut Jesse for Jonathan. You cut someone like a Cody or a Caleb. You cut them for Jonathan. You cut Austin. You cut Rome, who would have been a lot
you
more
cut
entertaining.
you even cut Jake from 45 as well. He
Exactly.
would have
I
been better.
forgot they cut him. Now I'm pissed off more again. Sorry.
You, you also have Caleb from 45 as well.
I said Caleb.
I forgot about. Okay.
Sorry.
We're
I
good.
think
Keep going.
Jonathan is gonna kind of just win out to merge, or he's just gonna be put on to merge and be like, "You're so strong. You're gonna help us. It'll be stupid of us to vote you out."
Yeah,
And then he'll probably just get knocked out, probably late merge, or he'll be a losing finalist. I think he's gonna do what he did last time and just piss people off towards the end. I can't see him winning. I really can't.
yeah,
Like I don't want to say like that going in, but it's like I can't ever see him winning. And it's kind of feeling like they just wanted a spot on here because again, the casuals love Jonathan, so we have to love Jonathan. So
yep,
what do you think?
exactly. Dude, it's all the Facebook moms, man. They love Jonathan.
Yeah, they're swooning over him like they used to for Fabio in the 80s and 90s.
Fuck yeah, dude. But yeah, same thing. Jonathan, not a good casting decision. A lot of other newbie players that could have easily taken that spot. Like even from 42, you have Omar, you have High, who also
Marianne.
well, she ain't a boy though, so I'm just going off of men.
Alex, it is, I it's
Okay, yeah, but
2025
no, just like
Alex.
there's better men on that cast rather than Jonathan that you could have picked. Even like Zach, the second boot, that would have been a good
Right,
pick.
exactly. Zach too. I
But
will
yeah,
say this:
so
we have had an even cast before though too. Like Fiji had one less woman. We
yeah,
cut
but
out
again, this
Jonathan from
is
Marianne.
but
That's
they
only
have
like
but the thing is that they have they have the deadlines to meet with balancing people out now. Okay,
I know,
yeah,
but Marianne is my
that's
spirit
all I have to say for
animal.
Jonathan.
Okay, give me
Not a
this.
good pick.
I like
Next up,
Marianne. She's my spirit
next up,
animal. Next up, we
45.
have from Survivor 45. Thank you for stealing my thunder. Like she tried to steal other people's thunder when their return. Her return now, Emily Flippin, the financial analyst. I actually will say, I actually am excited to see Emily back, especially because she
Yeah,
said she was never going to come back. I like Emily. I'm happy she's coming back.
yeah,
Um, I'm not sure whether we're seeing it in a second chance season, but 50, I'll take it. I'm actually not too upset with this pick.
yep,
Like Christian, she's gonna be like the female Christian pick for me, in my opinion. She has to
yeah.
do a lot of work, but if she sets herself up right, she will go far, and I can definitely see her winning. I would be surprised if she doesn't at least make merge, although I do see a very likely case where she goes very early on just for her status alone. I hope to
Okay.
God that does not happen. I joked I'm a bad Catholic, but I actually probably will start praying to make sure that we don't get some of these icons going out too early in favor of like people none of us really wanted to see. But I really would love to see Ed and Emily win. Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, I am happy that they have her on the cast. She brings a good blunt, like she's like blunt with people, and it makes it really funny just to see her confessionals just be like so like blunt and just straightforward, like, yeah.
Like the aliens in the pyramids?
But she has a good character. I feel like for the new era, she was one of the highlights of the new era, and even though 45 is not really remembered by a lot of people, just because of we have other seasons that do carry a lot more weight. Um, for Survivor 45, she is a really good character in that, and I feel like it might translate over pretty well with 50. So we'll see how she does. I feel like she won't make it too far, just because, of course, her gameplay and just kind of how she treats people. But she might change that. Who knows?
Well, we do have another person from Survivor 45, one of my personal favorite winners, alongside Marianne,
Our first winner on the
especially,
cast.
yes, first winner on the cast, D. Valadares from Survivor 45. And with D, I'm not against D being on, but it's like her being currently one of only two winners, unless one of the
Yeah,
49 picks win the season. which I'm starting to question if they do. But we'll get to that later. D, I love as a player. I'm surprised she's on because for those of you who do not know, if you don't want to be spoiled on other certain shows that just finished filming, skip like 10-20 seconds. D had just finished filming the Challenge 41. She was a contestant on it. I don't know how she did. I do know that she was on it. So, um, I'm surprised they just finished filming nine. I don't even think it's been a full month since they finished filming the Challenge 41. But with D, I'm surprised because again, Probst got really bitchy with other players for filming other shows. But it's fine for Suri to do whatever the hell she wants. I'm assuming he doesn't care with D because he likes D. I'm assuming now, so D's probably gonna be the new
Yep.
Suri. He just won't care what she does. But I like D. I think she's gonna go far. I'd be surprised if she doesn't find a way to make merge. I think she'll be valuable enough in challenges to where people won't look at her as an early target. They'll like at least not right away. I would again. I'd be surprised if she doesn't at least make a swap. And let's be honest, there is going to be a swap. They'll find a way because Probst needs to have his
Yep.
little tribes of three tribes of six. He's more autistic than I am with that. Um, sorry, I'm going too hard for
I feel
this.
like it's better to have a tribal three now, where two people can both go to tribal now, because it's gonna be a really fast season, a
Was
really
gonna have
fast
to,
season.
right? Because they won't
Yeah,
expand the days, which they should expand it back to
they
39. He
should.
kept saying
For
he
this
was
one, they
gonna
should.
push it back to 39 days for special occasions, like 50, but no, he went back in his promise. I
Yeah.
swear to God, I could go in front of that whole entire freaking
All
CBS
right.
board with it. D, I'm excited to
So
have back on. I think she's gonna go far. Aleks, what do you think?
yeah, so I don't see her going far. I see this season being like an all-star season where they take out all the winners first and just kind of have it be like a free for all then with all the
No,
returning players.
bad Aleks, bad.
So
Don't jinx it.
I know well, I just can't see her going far just because she's a previous winner.
I know, but let me dream.
I know, but like if she does make it far, I'll be happy. She's a good player, but like I just can't. Just my gut instinct. I just don't see her going far.
I don't think she's going to go nearly as far as she did before, but I will be surprised if she does not at least reach merge. Again, another person I see at most getting to like mid merge range, maybe early end game boot.
Now,
Next one is going to be a pick that actually surprised a lot of people.
yes,
Tiffany Nicole Irvin, Survivor 46, eighth place. I actually don't mind she's on here, but it's a strange pick to me. I kind of think they only picked her because of the next person we'll talk about, which I'm not going to say too much about the next person yet. But like Tiffany, I do think she has potential. A lot of people I've heard are apparently locking her as their winner pick now, which I'm like pretty damn early to do that when we haven't even
yeah,
like nothing's been started. But Tiffany, I feel like is the most one of the more surprising names on this cast, which means I think there's a large chance she'll probably be able to sneak to merge. I think she's
yeah,
a very good player. I definitely can see her going far. I definitely think there's a chance she'll make it higher. I can definitely see her being I could definitely see her winning. I could see her being a losing finalist. I could see her being like a late end game boot. I don't know if I can fully see her winning, but I definitely would be surprised if she
yeah,
doesn't make end game unless she fumbles really early on. I would be surprised if she doesn't make endgame somehow. Maybe I'm being too high in her, but I do think her lower status is gonna benefit her in a big name cast like this.
yeah,
Alex,
totally.
what do you think?
Um, I also feel like she might go far. She has a really good social game. She knows how to work with people. Um, it could be worse. They could have casted Banu, which thank God they didn't. But
Don't you dare say his damn name again, Alex. I swear to God, if you say his name
I'm just
three
saying it
times,
could have
he'll
been
appear in
worse.
our
It
TV
could have been a
again.
worse cast, but I'm fine with Tiffany being on this cast. It gives that like a special cast type relationship here where one's just kind of chaotic and one's just more um kind of that dialed in kind of. So it gives us like a good old
Yeah.
fashioned uh special cast type uh game here, and I hope that I really hope they're on the same try because that'd be kind of fun to see that happen again. But yeah, I feel like Tiffany's a decent pick. Could be it could have been way worse. She's a good player though, so I like her as a cast choice.
I'm happy to see her back on. Again, maybe some other people would have picked over her, but not completely against it. This is one of the 50-50 picks I'm actually the highest of. Like,
We
I'm excited
could
to
have
see.
had Liz,
Ah!
dude. She would easily won the game over all three of them.
All of you like flash to
Okay,
Liz on a juror, just like,
but yeah,
yeah, no, like D, I'm kind of 50-50 with her because of the winner status, but like, even I'm pretty high in her. Tiffany, another person, like I'm high on Tiffany as well, but it's also like she's more the most not questionable, but more of like I don't know. There's something that would have picked over her.
like a what if type scenario. Ooh,
Yeah, we definitely will be doing that. I was gonna wait till the end of the video to mention that, but we definitely will be. I'm definitely hopefully playing in a video where we can talk about who we would have wanted on 50, but
yeah,
now who probably is more likely not on a lot of people's cast, the Yang to Tiffany's Yang, Q Burnett. Now, Q is someone who, let's be honest, he's not winning.
yeah,
I think he's just a clear he's the new era coach. He's not
yep.
winning unless he like just pulls a Tony somehow. I can't see it happening if he does. Again, great, prove me wrong, but I'd be surprised if Q actually wins this. I think the whole reason I think Tiffany and Q are gonna be like the new era um Francesca and Philip. I think they're just probably brought back together. They're gonna put them in the same tribe just so that they fight each other. I think
Yeah.
Q's just gonna be taken out early on just as a wild card. I think at best he makes it to like early mid merge. Like early mid merge at best. Like I don't even know if I can even see him getting to final A. I think he'll just be that unpredictable that people will not be comfortable keeping him around. So
Yeah.
what do you think?
That's true. Like you do see him hanging out with other past contestants at like like these event stuff. So he does. He is a friendly guy, and I feel like he can string some relationships in the game. But it can be hard when he's just so unpredictable. He's kind of like Tony in Game Changers, where you don't know what he's gonna do next.
I love them on
So
Game Changers. You guys play niceness. I'm gonna go look for idols.
yeah, so I feel like he might just pull a Tony and just kind of get booted out just because he is so like what's gonna happen next type player. So again, don't see him going far, but I'm here for the comedy. So if he can give a good comedy, I'm fine with that.
Now in Survivor 46, Q got to the final six. Great comedy. You want to know who I think gave good gameplay? The next person we're talking about, Charlie Davis, who notably lost in a controversial 5-3 vote against Kenzie Petty in the final tribal council of Survivor 46, thanks to Maria. Now, Charlie, I think he might make it far. I think he's decently situated. He has people he knows. Maybe some people feel bad for him for what happened to Maria. I don't think they're going to let him near that final tribal spot because I think it's a guaranteed win. I think maybe at best case, I can see him being an early endgame boot. I think he at least makes merge. I'm surprised if he goes out earlier, unless it's like a serene heroes versus villains situation where he just gets idled out somehow. But I think Charlie's going to make a deep run. I do not think he's winning. I think his reputation is way too big for him. That even if he plays flawlessly or even if he has like a nothing game, his reputation alone, I think, will precede him. Aleks, what do you think?
I feel like he'll play like kind of like a Spencer game in Cambodia where he just plays like a bit of the the meat shield type strategy where he puts himself behind like Jonathan, a Q, like a Colby type player where he can still slide through
I thought
the
Jeremy
game.
did the meat shield strategy.
But Spencer kind of tagged along with that as well.
Okay, fair
He,
enough. Fair enough.
but he was kind of like riding Jimmy's coattails the whole game, so it was again a meat shield behind a meat shield behind a meat shield kind of thing. But I feel like he'll play kind of like a Spencer type game in Cambodia where he just kind of aligns with like the big guys, but also kind of has like a sub alliance with like smaller people in the game. Like he has a good voice where he can easily twist himself up and actually get him out of trouble. So I feel like he can go far, but they won't let him get to the end. They won't. They'll probably take him on fifth or sixth probably.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
thinking right now, you know? It's like I got a third eye and it's telling me something
Are you
really
feeling
interesting.
hungry for spaghetti?
Yeah, I am in the mood for Italian. That's what my third eye's telling me about. My next person, Genevieve Moshaluk. I'm not sure if I said her last name right. From Survivor 47. I'm really glad you went in for a bit with that with me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Genevieve to come back. She was honest to God, one of my favorite characters in 47. Honest to God, just super fun to watch. Really fun gameplay, really fun strategy, a lot of very fun, like emotional gameplay I feel like we got from her. Everything we get from her was really good. Like, I think she would have automatically beaten anyone in the final tribal council in 47. Maybe it's just the editing that did that, but I personally think there's a large chance she wins. Genevieve is someone who I'm very excited for. Her reputation might precede her. I could really see her going anywhere. I could see her winning. I could see her being a losing finalist. I could see her being the final endgame boss. I could see her going mid merge. I could see her going early merge. I could even see her going pre merge for her reputation. I think it's all gonna. I think she's the biggest wild card for what will happen. I genuinely am unsure for what she will do. I think it's likely she at least makes merge. I would love to see a Genevieve win, but who knows? Aleks, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like she is one of the strongest female players on this cast. Both, all around type player. I guess you're kind of being Kim and Winners at War, where she's a good threat, but like they'll take her along, but they won't let her get far in the game just because they know how she played the past season. But I feel like if she aligns herself right, she can easily make it pretty far. I don't see her getting out pre-merge. I can totally see her making post-merge and beyond.
I definitely agree with that. I don't know if you really see this, but the next person we're going to talk about, she had a secret relationship with someone on the island, like a secret bond. Did
What?
you know that about
No
this person?
way.
Camilla Carthagesu is on Survivor 50, was the fourth placer in Survivor 48. Which, again, why do we need three people from 48 when it's one of the least favored new seasons of all time by a lot of people? And I'm not just saying it for myself. A
But the
lot of people
casuals,
have talked
but the
to hated
casuals,
it.
but the casuals, the the, the, the casuals love them.
Casuals can, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Camilla back. I think she's one of the picks that makes the most sense to bring back from 48.
Yes.
I think if she doesn't separate herself from a future person we're going to talk about, she will be taken out early. If she can get that person out early on, or at least get some solid allies that will trust her no matter what happens with the other person, or if this other person just magically gets knocked out early on, best case scenario for her. I don't think she makes it as far as she did before. I think at best she gets like early merge, mid merge. I don't think she's making it close, especially with people now talking outside the game about how she basically was the fallen angel of the season, how she would have beaten anyone at the final tribal that season. I don't think Camilla gets anywhere close. So, Aleks, what do you think?
Yeah. If Kyle and Camilla are put on separate tribes and they go to tribal, she probably isn't gonna make it far. I I I I also feel like Kyle and Camilla are gonna get targeted big time now because you can't bring back a winner and like a fourth place or like that like
Well, you're bringing back the winner
on a season
and
like
their
that.
number one.
Yeah, like there's you can't do that because they're gonna be easy targets right off the bat. It's not a fucking secret anymore. So like it's be very hard for them to make it in the game. But who knows? Camilla could make it far, but I just can't see her winning.
Well, they may have said that was a secret relationship. What wasn't a secret was the hug heard around the world, started by
It made Jeff cry.
Joe Hunter, the second runner up of Survivor 48. And here's the thing, I don't hate Joe as a person. I think his story emotionally is very moving throughout the season. He is basically a new era version of Russell Hantz that is a more heroic take on it. They're hyping him up for 50 because they knew they wanted him on because they liked the story. Joe, I found very annoying with this talk of. I talk about his game now. Talk about his game. His talk of honesty, loyalty, integrity. I said this in a season ranking video. Like, if you haven't watched an American Dad episode about the mural, go watch that because that whole thing with loyalty, integrity, that's basically what I think of with 48. And the fact that Joe kind of gets this whole big edit with it when he was never going to win. Again, it feels like another season of why did the runner up lose? Why did the runner up production like lose versus why did the winner win? And like I don't like seasons that do that. It is very annoying. Um, especially when it's edited in such a bad way. Joe being back is someone that again the casuals love him, great. I kind of get it. They're trying to prep him up, but it's like I don't need to see Joe back. He's
Yeah,
again another pick where it's like I don't need to see him. And new era All Stars, okay. Second chance, okay. 50, absolutely not. There are a lot better picks than him. Aleks, what do
I
you
saved
think?
him. Yeah. Joe needs to turn like Joe needs to become like John Cena and like turn heel because he needs to be like a complete villain now. He has to make some like moves and actually like betray people because he has this reputation now and he needs to break it because he's not going to win if he plays an honest game anymore. That's not how you play the game anymore. Probably back in like
Exactly.
the early seasons, but like now it's like you can't. Um, I can't really see him going far either. They might take him out pretty early on. Um,
I yeah, I definitely think he's going out early. I
yeah,
think he probably goes out early merge or right before the merge. Granted, we could both be wrong, and he could get in with like people like Colby and Stephanie and like Ozzy and Coach, people who value honesty and integrity, and he could just ride
yeah,
out to the end with them. If he's very lucky, he could get far.
yeah,
I think it's very likely he's out. Like people, I mean, he literally won. He almost tied the record for most challenges won by a guy in a single season,
yeah,
and he came one challenge shy of winning that freaking goal. Like I don't think they're gonna let, especially because with Colby and Ozzy had the record, but that was in a much different time. I think people will see that. Joe's season just filmed last year. That is much more modern, much
yep,
closer to what they would actually think. No way in hell does Joe make it that far. I don't even think they'll even let him get to merge if he's lucky. So
yeah,
Joe has to
right,
change up his game a little bit. He has to be like JT in Heroes vs. Villains and change up his game, be a bit of a villain if he wants any chance to win. He has to be more willing to adapt and lie in the game. He probably won't. I don't think he's going to make it far. And if he somehow does win, I'll actually be disappointed if he wins with the same gameplay this season because he got lucky. I think he got lucky this season. I'll just say
yeah,
that because every other season he would have been knocked out so much earlier. So the last person we'll talk about, someone who had some good, had some good luck and also a good game to back it up. Kyle Frazier, the winner of Survivor 48. Surprised he brought him back so early on. I think it's a pre-merge boot. I'd be shocked if he even makes it to the jury phase
yeah.
just because he just won. I think recency bias is going to hurt both him and the Aleks. What do you think about this?
Yeah, easily. Kyle not gonna make it far. Again, he's a winner. I feel like they will for sure target the winners early on. And I feel like if he does make merge with Camilla, their first targets easily. You know,
Right. And it's like
it's
with
just
Kyle,
no winning at all with either Camilla or Kyle. They're both like gonna be targeted pretty quickly.
I'm not denying that Kyle could go far. Again, if Kyle proves me wrong, great. I just don't
Yeah,
think it's gonna happen because he literally has one of the biggest targets. Like Camilla, Joe, and Kyle, I think will have some of the bigger targets of the entire cast because their season just aired, very fresh in their mind. I think it's not even been a. It's at this time, it's been barely a week since the finale aired. They were quarantined, I think, like yesterday. I want to say, from what I heard, and like
it's
I
all
think
fresh on
Kyle's gonna
people's
have one of the
minds.
bigger targets.
It's all
What?
fresh. It's all
Right.
fresh on people's minds. No,
Exactly.
they have this
What's
image of like what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but the biggest thing here, they don't have a fresh image in mind of the next two players we'll talk about.
Yeah.
From Survivor 49, Rizzo and Savannah. Now, this has been leaked a while ago that they're the
Okay.
people.
Okay.
CBS
I'll
hasn't
say
said it.
you fucking know already. Goddamn.
Yeah, no, I will say if you've been
Yeah.
in the rumor mill, the names are Rizzo and Savannah. The rumors are that they currently are the ones that are on 50 from 49. People are thinking that they do something big enough to get onto the cast, which I'm thinking the same thing. I think there's a chance that at least one of them is a winner. Rumor I heard in the rumor mill was that Mary Ann was actually on the cast until the last second where they put Rizzo and Savannah on. So some people are speculating that one of these two either wins or they go very far. Not 100% sure. I doubt that they would just put two people who spoil like the winner of
Yeah. Right.
49 right after it
Yeah.
films. I kind of doubt they would do that.
I can totally see one being like a finalist, like one being like like top five.
Yeah, like Rizzo seemed interesting from what we got from him. Savannah,
Yeah, from the
we didn't
teasers.
really
Yeah,
get anything in the little thing up for 49 where they're talking about how she's talking about how she wants to brutalize the competition and like pulverize them or something like that, you know. So like I'm hoping they do something big. I mean, when I do my fantasy leagues, I'll be including them for sure, just because if they're gonna do something
yeah.
big, it gets me
Hey,
points in the
that's an
long
easy
run.
win.
But like,
Yeah, that's an easy win.
right, exactly. Like, I'll finally win one of my damn drafts.
Yeah,
But those are the two names I heard. Keep in mind, the 49 names are not. I don't know if they're set in stone.
they're rumors,
Or
everybody.
right,
Rumors.
these are rumors for the 49 thing. These names could be the
Fleetwood
exact
Mac
opposite.
rumors. Good album.
They could be two very different people. Like they already announced that they are two people from 49. The rumors that it's these two. It could be very different people. Do not quote me on this. But I will say, many interesting things with this cast. I don't think it's a good cast. I think it's at best a 5 to 6 out of 10. I do think it somebody else I want to say that people thought it was very interesting that they almost seem to forget about the diversity mandate this season, which I think has actually forced production to make better casts throughout the new era. Whether the gameplay has been meh, it's forced them to have to pick different people for the cast. I hope to
A lot of
God this isn't
whites.
permanent. What?
A lot of whites.
I
Look at my
hope to
list now.
God.
Yeah, there is. Jesus.
Yeah, I like the diversity mandate because I think it's led to a lot more interesting casting, and I hope to God that it's not gone for good. I know. I
They'll
think
probably
Mike
stick with it with
Bloom.
like new player seasons, but of course, returning seasons. I think they just will just kind of scrap the mandate for that. But for like new player seasons, they'll probably keep it.
I think Mike Bloom is his name. Was trying to get in touch with him to ask about that because a lot of people have asked about that enough to make him ask for it. I know Mike Bloom is a big like Survivor fandom name for like the fan side of it. But general thoughts, I already said mine. Aleks, any last minute general thoughts we have?
I hope I'm wrong with the season, and I hope it's a great season. We'll see though. Hopefully, some players don't stick with their old ways, and some players, make new changes to their game. And I hope that some players stick with their game, and I hope that the season's not a letdown because we've had a good stretch of bummer seasons with returning seasons, like Game
Agree.
Changers, which sucked. That's all.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Send us out.
Yeah, I will send this out right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. In the future, we will hopefully be trying to do some fun winner rankings. Maybe we'll do some other fun casting videos on who we would put on 50. Maybe we'll even do a couple of those casting type of videos where we'll think of certain themes with
Second
each
chance
one.
too. How about that?
Right? Maybe heroes versus villains too. Maybe an eras type of
Yeah.
theme. Maybe we'll just do like a general recasting theme. But
Maybe we'll just go ourselves. That that'd be fun, right?
I would have.
Okay.
I definitely
Yeah.
I'll bleep that out from you.
Yep.
Um, jokes aside, thank you guys so much for watching. Go subscribe to our channel as well as our Instagram page, Survivor What If, on Instagram. We'll link it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, everyone.